In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my beautiful Staghorn Fern, 5 things that you ought to know when it comes to caring for these houseplants. I'm also going to be repotting this. Now, these aren't the type of houseplants you want to repot very frequently. However, I'm having some very specific problems with the container that it's currently in, hence why I'm repotting it, and I'll share why exactly that is and what the problem is that I'm what I've encountered and what I'm dealing with. But yeah, all of that plus a bunch more in this video, so stay tuned. So today for the soil composition, I'm going to be using equal parts peat moss and some orchid bark. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I originally had 2 Staghorn ferns and I had mounted them really beautifully above the fireplace in this room. And, you know, it wasn't going very well. I'm down to 1 Staghorn fern, which I'm still very proud of. And I think the lesson in there is if you don't have a mature Staghorn fern, it's too soon to mount it. So that's why I want to basically keep it in a pot still and let it kind of continue to mature. I feel like this one can just get a little bit bigger. The problem that I've encountered with this particular container is that it's mounted, or it's just kind of in this container, it's really high. It makes it very hard to water, and I've had to like bottom water this, which is not a problem, but it's just become a challenge. So I want to repot this in this, you know, basically ever so slightly larger container, and I'm gonna make sure that there's a little bit of a lip there, so if I do want to water it, I can water it from the top or from the bottom. It gives me some more options, and I'm gonna go ahead and use this soil mix, and then we can jump into the light conditions, when and how to water it, fertilization, temperature, humidity, all of that good stuff. But first things first, I need to get this out of this container and get the roots kind of cleared off and then make a nice little home for it in this new container. So let's start off by doing that. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm Tyler. If you like what you're seeing or you find this video to be useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, or better yet, you can hit that subscribe button. Now, to really show me some love, click on the bell for alerts and notifications for future content. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out my merch store, tylermossup.com. So I'm trying to get this guy out of here. We should have some luck. Just be very gentle. Ooh, this does not want to, oh, there we go. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of loosen. Oh yeah. This thing is basically a giant root ball. Here, let me get my gloves on. All right, so we may not be able to clear out too many of, there might not be that much excess soil or whatnot, but let's see what we can do here. Just kind of loosen this. Yeah, this really does feel like all root, which is kind of cool. All right, well, all right, so this is really, seems all very rooty. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, so it's not really gonna require too much of this mix. Just put a little bit in the base. I did go ahead and actually add some horticultural charcoal to that. But yeah, let's get this guy in there. And then we can add some of this soil mix in and around. And I don't want it to come up too high. Like I said, the last time I couldn't really water it. So see here. All right, I'm gonna do this off camera just just get the soil in there and then I'll be right back. So let's jump into watering first. Now, like I said, I used to have these mounted up and now I have this one potted up. It's really rebounded. It's doing very well. It's growing like crazy and I really can't complain. I'm much happier with how this is looking now and I feel like it's got a ways to go. But that being said, when it comes to watering these, you're gonna wanna water them more frequently, obviously, in the growing season, the spring and summer, than you will in the winter and the fall. And what I like to do is give them a really good healthy watering. And now that I have some space at the top to do that, I can sort of let the water penetrate through the entire root ball because there's drainage and a built-in saucer, kind of let things drain. And I did add some horticultural charcoal to the base, which will also help absorb any excess water, because the trick with these, I believe, are to kind of water them and then let it kind of have a week or two to kind of dry out in between waterings, and you can let that dry out period increase during the fall and winter and kind of decrease during the spring and summer, which means you're watering more frequently again in the spring and summer. So that is key. And like I said, now that it's in this new container, it will really do much better in terms of watering it. Watering was quite kind of this like weird task in that previous container. So that should be much easier. And obviously, when it comes to humidity, these things are humidity fiends. They love and need their humidity. So the more humidity you can provide them, the better. Yeah, let's jump into what do we have left. We have lighting and temperature and fertilization. So let's jump into those next. So when it comes to light, I think this is one of the things that I've still have some work to do when it comes to the Staghorn Fern, because you don't want to overdo it with light, but I think they appreciate their bright indirect light. And what I've noticed is as time and the seasons kind of come and go, depending on where this is located, if it's not getting like a lot of bright indirect light, I'm finding that it's not as happy as, you know, as when it's getting more kind of shaded dapple light. So I tend to give this a couple of hours of really good bright indirect light, and that seems to be doing the trick for me. So I do kind of move this depending on the season and where in this whole space light is kind of coming and going, depending on if it's the growing season or fall or winter. And I know I've touched on this, but it's so important, I'm going to say it again, is these things absolutely love their humidity. The more humidity you can give them, the better. For me personally, ferns, Staghorn Fern or otherwise, are probably the most challenging sort of houseplant for me personally to kind of understand. And I have a lot of growing to do, but I'm just such a proud plant parent with when it comes to this one, because it's rebounded and it's doing really well. In terms of fertilization, again, you can go ahead and provide it like a liquid, well-balanced diluted fertilizer in the growing seasons. So I'll probably give this a nice watering, a little bit of liquid, well-balanced diluted fertilizer, and just put this in a spot where it's getting that nice bright indirect light, probably a little bit more inset from the south-facing window, and keep it kind of spaced out from that skylight that I have in here, but it seems to be doing well. Another little tip here is these are not the type of plant that you want to kind of be repotting all of the time. I've made kind of an exception to this because of the watering situation that I described. And then obviously when it starts to actually get more and more mature, that's when you really do want to mount it. And these kind of are coming out at the top, and you want to keep these sort of cover plates at the base of the Staghorn Fern. So this would be kind of at the south or bottom, and these at the north. If you mounted it kind of like so. But again, I want this to mature even more in this container before doing that. Other little weird tips and tricks, if you're noticing any sort of browning or blackening of any of these fronds, then that could be a sign of basically probably too much water. So be careful and be on the lookout for that. But I think that just about does it. Do you guys have one of these? If you do, have you had any luck? Leave a comment down below. Let me know how your Staghorn Fern is doing. I know for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while that these are something that I'm kind of passionate about and want to get better, and I'm just so incredibly happy that this one is doing well. I mean, look at this thing. It looks just amazing. So very happy that this is really growing and doing well. I have some new growth popping out of there, which is fantastic. So hopefully this thing continues to thrive and flourish. But that's it for me. Until the next one. Well, that's it for me. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, miss you guys already. Until the next one.